Hello everybody, this is Ruby from Ruby Artist Studio. Welcome to my channel. In this video we are going through the drawing materials for colored pencils. Basically there are two different types of colored pencil that I use for drawing. One is the Faber-Castell polychorom. This is the one that we are gonna go through today, and I'm gonna explain you some details about it. And the other one is the Prisma color. That is also a very nice colored pencil for doing the art, but they have very different nature in a way that Prisma is more oily, so I would rather that we go through that in another video. There are other materials that we are gonna use and I'm gonna introduce for you today, and basically these materials are gonna be the same for all the colored pencils video that we will explain. Here I was showing the sharp color pencils, and for sharpening the color pencil I use this deli pencil sharpener. They have two kind of blades. One is longer and one is shorter. With the long one you're gonna get a longer tip, and with the short one you're gonna get a shorter tip. The next is this just tip sharpener. With this green small Faber-Castell tip sharpener, you just kind of have sharpened the very top part of the tip of your pencil. Next is the sandpaper. So basically this is the sandpaper that I use. Sometimes you don't need to sharpen the pencil that much because these pencils are actually not very cheap, so you would like to minimize the amount of sharpening, so you can use the sandpaper instead. Next come for erasing. One of the eraser that I use is the soft eraser by Faber-Castell. This feels like a paste, so basically you detach a part of the paste and soften it more in your hand, and then very smoothly remove some layers from the paper. They come in different colors: blue, yellow, red. It doesn't matter the color at all. It is just nice because it doesn't damage the paper. The next one is the Staedtler pencil eraser, which you can remove kind of more detailed area that you are willing to on the paper. And after that, there are the type of Faber-Castell erasers that they go on the bottom of your pencil, so you can have them when you're drawing and suddenly you would like to remove some part, you can easily use them. I use this type of pencils for hair, and in the hair video we are gonna go through them. In the eye video, I was using this cutter that I was making the shadow in the eyes more clear with them. These are the 30-degree cutters. So their difference with the normal cutter is that the normal cutter they have 45-degree, but these are 30. And basically when you buy the cutter, then later on you can buy the blades separately. I will use this cutter for realism eyes and also realism hair with colored pencil. So have it, we're gonna use it a lot. And this is the blade that I have bought separately, and they are available and not so expensive. And for the paper, I use the Fabrianao paper, which is 130 gram per square meter. This is okay, but I would like to investigate to find a better paper, so I would need some time on that. Next, I would like to show you how does layering work and what does it mean to do layering on the paper. When you want to color a specific area on the paper, for me, it changes from artist to artist, but what I would like to do is to go from the brightest color to the darkest color. This is how it works for colored pencils, and putting a very smooth layer with sharp pencil on the paper, and then putting next layer and next layer. With this method, you can put up to 8 or 9 layers of color on top of each other, and you have to notice that there are millions of colors in the nature, and even the best colored pencils like polychoromos, Faber-Castell, they just have 120 colors. So you have to make all of those extra colors by the layering rule. This is why it matters a lot to put a smooth layer so they can go on top of each other. I will show you a very simple example of coloring an oval. So basically with the paste eraser, with the soft eraser, I removed a little bit of the pigment from the oval that I painted on the paper, and now I will start with the lightest color that I have. If you want to try the same, it is okay, it's totally fine, you can pick any color, just try to pick 6 colors that comes in a shade. I mean, for example, 6 blue from very bright to the dark. Then you start with the brightest color, and that comes as the base. So you draw very smoothly with sharp pencil on the paper. Try not to put any extra pressure on the paper. Very gentle. And then you will form the first layer. The motions are 2 types. They can be either a small linear motion or circular motions. It is totally fine to use either of them, as long as when somebody looks at your painted area, they cannot guess which one you were using. I mean, you should not hold your hand from the paper and put it back so that you have kind of the painting pattern. It should be very coherent and very homogeneous. With patience, we color all the oval with the basic color. This is how the first layer was done, so we will go to the second layer. You will pick the second bright color in your pencils, and you start doing the same but putting the second layer. If you put too much pressure on the paper, you will kind of damage the morphology of the paper, and it will not accept more layers and more colors on top. So you cannot make more colors. This is the main reason why we have to really control the pressure of the tip of pencil on the paper. as you go higher in the layers, because here I would like to show you a shade, so the darker color I choose, the less height I move forward with them. So now I'm in the third layer, so I somehow go just up to the middle of my oval with it. This is how also you get a 3D look on the 2D paper. It's just playing with the shades. Anytime you realize that the tip is not sharp enough, you can use the sandpaper or the pencil sharpener to make it sharp. You need to have patience to do this because sometimes it might take a while, but that waiting is totally worth it when you finish the drawing. Now I'm going to the next darker color and I'm gonna follow the same pattern. So basically it's very similar what you do in all the layers, what you do in using all of the colors. Just filling the paper and putting the layers on top of each other and being careful with the pressure. You do not need to have all the colors, all the 120 colors of Faber-Castell polychromo, just the ones that are basic and just the ones that come. Actually, the package of 60 Faber-Castell polychromo or 48 are already enough. And the good thing about Faber-Castell polychromo is that you can buy them separately. So if just as a matter of fact you need a specific color or you need to make a specific color, that for that you need to have like a particular number, you can buy it separately and it's totally fine. That is how I have all of my colored pencils. I have bought them one by one. And then here is the last layering color, the darkest color. I will challenge you that you can go up to 9 layers of color if you follow what I told you in the previous minutes. And the more layers, the more natural look, the more three-dimensional look. So now I'm done with this oval. Now I would like to show you what happens if the pencil is not sharp enough and it has a big surface in contact with the paper. So I'm gonna show an example to you with coloring another oval. As before, I will remove the extra pigments with the paste eraser, and I will start the coloring. This color pencil doesn't have a sharp tip, and when I apply it on the paper, doesn't matter how gently I do it, I will have a lot of spots in my paper that they don't have any pigment at all. And the more layer I put on top of that colored spots, the more clear those white parts would be. So putting more layers, and the more clear the white spot, and it will remove that smooth look that you would love to have for having a realism drawing. And it will be there. You cannot remove, you cannot fill those white spots. So this is why the smooth look in all the realism drawings or hyper-realism drawing are achieved by controlling the pressure, having sharp colored pencils, and somehow proper layering. You can totally compare these two together. Actually, I'm not sure if you can see that from this high, but the change is very evident. And in the next part, I'm gonna show you how to use the cutter. So you have it from the back side, you hold it in your hand, you have just a very short part of the tip out, and you have to have enough layer of colors for using the cutter, otherwise you will damage the paper, and that's the last thing that you would like to do. So we have enough layer of colors, and very smoothly we scratch these layers with the help of cutter. As I mentioned earlier, this is very much used for doing a realism hair or realism eye, and I'm gonna go through them in the next videos, and I'm gonna show you how to do it. And if you want to make the highlight more evident, you will just use a darker color and you will kind of create this shade around the highlighted part. So that's all for today. I would be happy to hear your comments and answer any possible questions. Thank you for watching.